I hate white trans men. I don't like them. I despise them. I'm not into them. I'm okay without them. Don't really need them. Never really did. Conservatives, go away. If you watch Fox News, just give me a favor and click away. Don't look at me. 6 feet away. 6 feet away. Keep your distance. This is not a conservative video bashing trans people, okay? That's not what this is. You can leave. Doors right here, okay? Look. Go away. If you are trans, this is not a how I figured out I was trans video. It is not that. There's hundreds of those. Go watch them. There's hundreds of them. This is not that. If you could not tell, I am Mexican and I am also trans. In this little Venn diagram of being Mexican and trans, there's this cross section where you can be both Mexican and trans, and that's where I exist. Right here. In that little hole between those two identities, that's where I am. That's where a lot of people are, actually. But for some reason, we don't exist in the public eye at all, because transness seems to be only a white person thing. Quickly, name 3 trans men people. Go. Did you say Elliot Page? Did you say Jordy? Did you say it's Jamie? Could you think of anyone else who was trans man who was not white? Could you think of trans people in general? 3 trans people in general that are famous? Probably not. But out of all of those you thought of, how many of those were colored? How many? Again, talking trans men, not trans women, trans men. How many? Exactly. None, because we don't have representation. Absolutely no representation whatsoever. If you know more, tell me, please. I'll list them off right now, okay? You got maybe Raul from Wendell and Wild, that beautiful movie with the black girl who was a witch. You know the movie everyone's heard of? Oh wait, no, you haven't heard of it because not a lot of people heard of the movie, even though it was amazing. To see an actual Latino trans man and have a supportive mother. Oh, and have a supportive mother. That broke my heart and I wanted to cry. Got the books Felix Ever After. Okay, that does include a trans-masculine Latino person. Great book. Read it, okay, read it. And I've heard the book Cemetery Boys also includes a Latino trans character. Point being, it's definitely not a lot compared to, you know, the... I wanted to bring this up and I wanted to film this because there's always been this thing in my mind, and I'm not sure if other Latino or just colored trans men can relate to this. I feel it took me a longer time to figure out I was trans, specifically a trans man. Not only because of lack of representation for trans men, but also because I was fighting being masculinized when I was perceived as a colored woman. I was seen as less feminine, so my entire youth, it was basically me forcing femininity on myself so I could not be viewed as masculine. You know, I got made fun of for being really hairy. I was a lot darker when I was younger, and people would make fun of me for it, told me I looked like a man. So I constantly had to fight these stereotypes put amongst colored women to try to fit this more beauty ideal of femininity. I try to be a good, I try to be this good Hispanic little girl. Okay? And on a more personal note, I was just not femininely built. I was a little chunkier. I had broader shoulders at the time. I was a little taller than most girls. 5'7". Wow. So alpha. And I had no chest. I laid as flat as the earth. So I went through this phase where I went like super hyper femme. If I can find clips and videos, I'll put them out there because you know what? I look good. But like wigs, lashes, frilly clothes, everything. I wanted to look like a doll. I wanted to be the most feminine thing on earth. I was really going against my own grain because I really wanted to be this like perfect American girl. But point being, I was never going to be that perfect American girl simply because, you know. But eventually, I started loving myself as a colored woman. I started finding spaces that were really healing and kind of just surrounding myself a lot with other colored women and starting to love myself. And after all of that searching and working through all of the self-hate that came with being a colored woman, I came to the conclusion that I was not even a woman. I was like, wait, this still feels wrong. Then why do I still feel like barfing every time I wear femme clothes for more than 3 hours? Why do I feel like crawling out of my skin if I wear my wig? What was wrong with me? I was so engulfed with this beautiful thing that is womanhood and sisterhood. For a long time, being a colored woman was my identity. Literally, I started playing with my gender a little bit more around the end of high school. By the time I started questioning if me myself could be trans, I already had kind of gathered a large knowledge of the trans community, because I guess a little closeted in me just suddenly wanted to watch a lot of like It's Jamie or like voice transitions and would just obsess over them and be like, wow, that's so amazing. But all of these were like notoriously white. Super white. Okay, you got YouTube? Let's look at YouTube. White, white, white. White, 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 white. Cello Man. Literally, Cello Man was like the only one I could find at the time who was not white. Okay. And wait, is Cello Man still he? Cello Man, what you working with? Cello Man, I loved you. You got me through it though. And I know another YouTuber recently came out as Latino and trans. Alexander Avila recently came out as a trans man, and that makes my heart so happy because look, I just need more. I just need more colored trans men, okay? The younger me had nothing to work on. What do you got on mainstream media? Elliot Page? What else? Maybe we got a few anime characters that ended up dying. Wonder Egg, I'm looking at you. Go to Pinterest. Go to Pinterest, look up trans mask. What do you see? What do you see? Look up trans mask aesthetic. What do you see? Let's do this right now, okay? Look, I'm doing it right now, okay? I'll put the pictures up on the screen. You get a bunch of skinny white guys in alternative outfits. That's really it. That's all that's coming out is skinny white guys with crazy haircuts in like e-boy-esque fashion. Is it cool? Yeah, sure. But it's definitely not diverse in any form of the word at all. Now I'm just looking at the word trans mask and still nothing but skinny white guys. Skinny white guys and edits. All just like edits of more skinny white guys with like wolf cuts. I'm still scrolling. Let's see how long it takes me to find any colored people. Oh, is that one? Is that one? Oh, I found one. Let me count how far from the first pin that was. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 73 pins until we get to the first colored trans man on Pinterest. If we look up the word trans mask, okay? I'm tired of this. I'm tired. Luckily, Pinterest isn't the only social media. We have TikTok, and it's not any better. Honestly, people are just mad because we're hot. That's it. I've never seen an ugly trans man ugly colored trans man. Period. They're just mad because we're hot, and they know it. Side note, trans men of color, do you think you pass more because you are not white? And I feel I tend to pass more than them sometimes, and I do think it's because I'm brown. And I think it's because in the public's eye, you can't be both trans and colored, so it's harder for them to figure it out. I want to make a video about how racism has changed in my life, at least for myself, when it comes from being facing racism as a woman as facing racism as a man, and how weird of a change that was. But that's whatever. We're doing the TikTok thing. Listen, your gender envy was that guy from Stranger Things. My gender envy was Spooky from On My Block. He was so hot, and I wanted to be like him, so I shaved my head, and I was definitely, it was spooky. I will say that. It was definitely spooky. Low key, I wanted to be a cholo, and look at me. Because, you know, everything about my personality just screams cholo. I'm gonna show a few TikToks here that I feel just like kind of encapsulate what I've been trying to talk about this whole goddamn time.
You must be right. This is an amethyst, except an amethyst is big and strong. This one is not the best example. Something is clearly wrong.
White trans people on this app never fail to prove to me that they just prefer white gay people over anything else. Because surprisingly, but not surprisingly, the main group of people I find being transphobic to me are white trans people, or like white gay people. Because my queerness and the way that I express my queerness as a Latino is so fucking different than how they express theirs, because it's so binary in their world of like white transness that they just like can't accept me, and they can't accept anyone else who's like me, and it just drives me fucking insane.
I see so many trans men doing like the fucking like vaquero look. That looks hot as fuck. Or doing like the stereotypical Latino man stuff, like wearing gold chains. That's hot. Ooh, being called papi. First time someone called me mijo, I cried. I was at a quince. I cried my ass off. I was like, mijo. Let's just, okay, I'm just gonna look up trans men. Okay, first TikTok is a black man. So it is a little better than Pinterest, but it's still predominantly white. Yeah, it's still pretty white. TikTok shows you what you want to see. So if you're only liking white trans men content, you're only gonna get white trans men content. So start liking some more colored trans people, okay? Boost them up. Other side note, white trans people, what's up with you and choosing Asian names? If I meet another Kai, I swear to God, I don't get it. I see a lot of white trans men pin a bunch of just like random ass Asian guys and being like, that's so gender. What do you mean by that's so gender? And it's just like hot Korean man, hot Chinese model who's like also skinny and has emo hair. They're like, that's it. I just want to be like that. Now that's like a fetishization that I am not able to cover because I am not Asian. But it's just struck me as weird. Like, why? I mean, sure, I'm sure it's like they're hot. It's because some of them are like more prettier than traditionally masculine that they're like, that's so gender? Or is it like a... Or is it like this weird fetishization? It's probably both. Dear Latino trans men, don't feel like you need to pick a white man's name in order to pass or when you transition. If you want to, go ahead. If you want to be a Paul or a Richard or a Mason, not Hunter. You're not allowed to pick Hunter. That's a dumbass name. But Hispanic names are cool. Latino names are cool. Okay, I kept my name. This is my name. It is traditionally a little bit more feminine, but I just think it's a sick ass name. And you can't deny it. It's a sick ass name. It's Sochito. Or you could just say Sochi for short. Okay, it's a cool name. I think it carries a lot of cultural weight, so I kept my name. But I got Luis, Alejandro, Miguel, Estefan, Mateo, which I low-key wanted to change my name to Mateo because I really like that name, and it's the name of one of my favorite book characters from the book Die at the End. I like the name Mateo, but then I realized a bunch of people in Hollywood always use the name Mateo whenever they have a Latino character, and I realized maybe not for me. Those are just my thoughts on the whole situation. I think I really just wanted to make this because I don't see anyone talking about it on YouTube, at least. I just want to feel like I'm not alone. This is my reach to you, and I'm hoping this is my outreach to you. Because if you have more like media representation of trans men of color, tell me. Tell me. I want more. I need more. Okay? I need to constantly fill my brain with content or else the thoughts start coming in. If you did like this video, I do have another one right here going more into my personal journey with mental health and being trans. That's the video. guys.